Hello, my name is Kirioth, and I come to you with great news that you've already seen before, because this was released yesterday. But Destiny 2 is going to be on PC, and at first I was somewhere between hyped as fuck and over the moon, because Destiny, for all of its flaws, especially when the game first released, vanilla Destiny, not great. I'm just going to put that out there right now. I did enjoy it, but I enjoyed it whilst recognising that a lot of it was pretty bullshit, if we're being honest. Things like, the completely random nature of the loot, to the extent whereby you could pick up something, an engram, that could well be like a proper epic bit of gear, and then it would just turn out to be some green piece of shit that you don't care about. That was not acceptable. The fact that there were things like the loot cave that actually made more sense. It made more sense to stand and shoot into a cave than it did to actually run the content, because your chances of getting gear out of it were just as good, if not better, than if you actually just played the game. That was bad. The story, or lack thereof, was fucking atrocious, right? Even as I was playing Destiny, and I thoroughly enjoyed playing it, even as I was playing it, I was like, this is kind of gash. Like, what the fuck is going on? Why is no one explaining anything? The fact that every time you meet someone new or something big happens, you just get told that, oh, well, I can't explain this now, I'm too busy. But you're fucking busy. You're busy. I'm shooting everything, trying to stay alive. Give me a fucking clue, mate. Why are these people attacking me in the first place? Nothing. Instead, you get this vast library online whereby you can look at whatever you want. But for me, a story generally is not something that you should have to go to an external place to look up. I mean, even Dark Souls, which is, let's face it, fairly, I don't know, what's the word? I wouldn't say stingy, fairly mysterious with its story. It's very atmospheric in terms of storytelling. You have to go looking into items and things to actually get information about the world around you and the story as it is occurring. But that's fine, because at least that's in the goddamn game. Right? I mean, Dark Souls, at least if you pick up an item, you can read about that item and it'll tell you something about the item as relates to the world around you. Destiny, it was literally, there's a new bad guy, and then Peter Dinklage would go, I don't have time to explain this to you now. And that would be it. That would be the whole fucking thing. There wouldn't even be an item you could pick up and look at and go, oh, well, I see they came from this place and did this. No, none of that. It didn't even have the decency to do what Dark Souls does, which is present its story in a way that makes you work for it. It just didn't give you the fucking story and went, there's a website, fuck off. That was pretty much it. Not good, right? However, as the expansions came out, as more content was released, as the game got more developed, as they consulted with other companies, like you remember there was that story about, I think it was the Diablo 3 team going to visit Bungie. As they started to work on it and make it better, it became a really, really good game. And it actually became enjoyable without the sort of caveat in the back of my head where I was like, it's fun, but it's shit. It just became fun and not shit. Now, if they continue to do that into Destiny 2, that's awesome, because I will absolutely play it on PC. From the very start, I thought Destiny should have been on PC. And it really bugged me that it wasn't. It's like, it's perfect for the PC. It's like it's made for the PC. It's a fucking loot game, but first-person shooter. Surely that's something that is going to be at least mildly popular. You're getting the best of both worlds out of people who play on PC. You're getting an FPS, and you're getting a fucking loot-based, like, dungeon crawler. I mean, for God's sake, if Diablo 3 is massively popular, if things like Call of Duty and Battlefield are massively popular, a combination of the two, that's got to hit a good number of people, right? But it just never arrived. However, and I'm trying very hard here. I'm trying very hard not to just go full on, oh my god, this is the best thing ever, because I really, really, really want to play Destiny 2 on PC. However, there is a slight problem that I'm going to have with this if a certain strategy from Destiny makes its way into Destiny 2. Destiny had a fucking problem with exclusivity deals. Or, to be precise, basically an exclusivity deal, just the one with Sony. Whereby content, certain bits of content anyway, were released on PlayStation 4 first. Now that's not massively uncommon. There are plenty of games whereby someone, makes a deal where they get that content a month early. or 2 months early, or 2 weeks early. Not great, not ideal, but it does happen. Destiny's exclusivity shit was the worst I've ever seen in terms of how it excludes a significant portion of the user base. It was absolutely dire, because it wasn't just a case of like a week or 2 weeks or a month or 2 months. It's a full year. People playing on Xbox literally have to wait, or had to wait, a whole year to get content that PlayStation users were getting straight away. 365 fucking days of not having access to something that someone else has got access to, even though you paid the same amount of money for it, is fucking bullshit, right? And that's not even the worst of it. The last set of content that was released that had this exclusivity deal tied to it was stuff to do with the Taken King. Now, I don't know exactly how much of it is. I'm pretty sure Taken King is available on the Xbox, but there's like certain strike missions and various other things that I'm pretty sure are not available on the Xbox that are available on the PlayStation 4 due to this exclusivity deal. The way that deal was worked out, the final one for the Taken King, was that PlayStation would have it exclusively until Destiny 2. So there are people who have got Destiny on their Xbox who cannot play the final round of content for the game until the sequel comes out, or at least until it's announced, I believe. It's one of the two. Either way, that's getting on for 2 fucking years. That is genuinely getting on for 2 years at this point. Not 1 year, because Destiny 2, of course, was pushed. It was supposed to be out last year, but it was pushed out by a year. But that affected the exclusivity deal. So people are having to wait like 2 years for content that other people have already got. That's fucking bullshit. Now, if that actually happens here as well, if they have the same deal set up whereby PlayStation 4 users get access to content a year in advance of PC and Xbox, that won't just dampen my enthusiasm for Destiny 2, it might just ensure that I don't end up playing it. And here's the thing, I want to play it. This is a game I want to play. I did enjoy the first one, provided they've learned from their mistakes and they've built up from the state that Destiny sort of got to as opposed to the way it launched. Destiny 2 could be pretty fucking good, especially on PC. It could be real good on PC. I want to play this game. If, however, I get told that for my 60 quid, or however much it's going to cost, I mean 50 quid's more likely, or 55, I think Activision push it a bit, don't they? Either way, it's a significant amount of money. Let's be honest. It's not some cheap shit. It's a AAA game. It's going to cost. It's going to cost big, especially when you look at things like season passes, which I probably won't do, but other people will. If I get told, oh yeah, but you're going to have to wait a year for the content that you've paid for, or are willing to pay for, you're just going to have to wait a year because we said to Sony they could have it for a year. There is absolutely no fucking chance that I would bother with the game on PC. Now, I'll be honest, I might well bother with the game on PlayStation 4, but the very fact that that has to be a choice, the very fact that I have to look at the game and go, now, I would prefer it on this platform because it's my chosen platform for gaming, but it means waiting an entire year of life to play something that someone else has already got access to, even though we're paying the same amount. The fact that that is a conversation that may be necessary is just bollocks. It's disgraceful. It shouldn't happen. Exclusivity deals is shit to begin with. Not being able to access something that someone else got access to, even though you're paying the same money, that's bad when it's a month. It's real bad when it's a couple of months. When it's a year, you are officially in the people who made this can go fuck themselves territory. Like, I get it. Exclusivity deals, it means funding from the people who are making that deal with you. It's a bit of extra money. You know, you can put it into the game, you can pay your employees more, you can do a lot with that cash. But I would argue that cash is great in the short term. But something that is probably a little bit more valuable if you want to keep selling, and this is exactly the same thing as we were talking about yesterday with the whole DLC bullshit that is going on with Civ 6. If you want to keep selling to people, you need to not fuck them over or give them the impression that they are being fucked over. And whilst in a very real sense, not being able to play something for a year is, in a way, like in the grand cosmic scale of things, it's not a big deal. Like, in a way, it's not a big deal. When you compare it to everything else that's going on in life in general, it's not a big deal. But when you're looking at it in terms of, this is how much this person is paying, this is how much I'm paying, they get this a year before me, and there's literally nothing I can do about it, that is a fantastic way to get your user base to just assume that you are taking the fucking piss. But only because you are. And that's the other thing as well. It's not in a case of, oh no, you don't understand, you don't understand. No, we do understand. We understand that if you are playing on a console other than the fucking PlayStation, we effectively don't give a shit about you, and you can just wait. Just wait for it. We don't care. Just, well, you know, we've got the money for the exclusivity deal. We don't give a fuck about you. You've paid us. Now just fuck off and sit there like a good boy and wait your turn. When there shouldn't even be a turn to begin with. It should just be at least, like, I'll accept 1 month out. I'll take that if I absolutely have to. It's bad. It's not the worst. A year? Absolutely not. If there is an exclusivity deal for Destiny 2, whereby content comes out a year later on other platforms, it can fuck off. I'm not touching it on PC. I may touch it on PlayStation 4, but having actually talked this out, I would be tempted just to say no in general. I genuinely would actually be tempted to just go, fuck it. You obviously don't really care about the money from people on those platforms, otherwise you wouldn't just take the piss out of them, so you don't get the money. That's the best way to do it. That's the only way they fucking learn. As long as people keep buying when they do stuff like this, they'll keep doing it. If they keep doing this and find that actually it does impact sales when you treat an entire subsection of people who want to buy your product as being worth less than other people who are paying the same for your product, eventually might get into their heads that exclusivity deals are great for the short term and will fuck you over in the long term. I want to be excited for Destiny 2. I really do, and in a way I am. But I never get excited for being fucked over, and I never get excited for bullshit. And if there's anywhere near as much bullshit attached to Destiny 2 as there was to Destiny, well, it can just get out of my face, and I just won't play it. And I definitely won't buy it. I'd be interested to see if you feel the same way. Like, if you were already set, did you see it was out on PC and go, well, I'm going to buy it then? Or, like me, do you feel that perhaps certain practices shouldn't be supported in that way? Do you not even care about the wait? Are you the type of person who's like, well, I've got the game, that's enough for me, I'll just play the rest of the stuff when it comes out? I'd be interested to know what you think about this, because I didn't think I cared, and then as I thought it through, I realised I actually really did. Anyway, if you like that video, then like the video, and there's plenty of other stuff to click there. There's like a subscribe button in another video, and you can have a look at my Patreon page if you want to, you don't have to. But in the meantime, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time. Toodaloo.